Why we have 19 first alert weather days in effect, why we have pretty much all week long, it's because how that humidity makes that temperature feel to your body can really open up the door to things that you don't want, like heat exhaustion, heat stroke, things that can really do a lot of damage. So you have to make sure you're taking good care of yourselves, especially when we are talking about heat like this. Now, we have 2 alert days coming down the pipelines for us tomorrow as well as Sunday, but for a couple of different reasons. Tomorrow it's for the heat. Sunday it's for the potential that we could have some showers and storms across the area, a few of which could be on the strong to severe side. These are things that we're going to watch as a cold front finally starts to make its way through. But heat advisory is still in effect across the area through 8 p.m. tomorrow. That does mean that heat index value will likely range anywhere from 100 to potentially as warm as 105. So you really want to make sure, like you have the last couple of days, you're taking it easy and taking some of those frequent breaks if you are going to be staying outside. Live look outside right now over downtown Cleveland. Everything's pretty quiet. We've had some high clouds rolling through over the past couple of hours. For the most part, though, it's just waiting on what little bit of showery activity we have left to finally start to dissipate. And now that we're past sunset, for the most part, our temperatures are coming down, and so that does mean it's going to limit any additional storm chances for us. But out the door right now, if you are stepping out one last time still this evening, maybe you have to let the dog out or something. Temperatures on the east side into the mid-70s. For the most part, though, low to mid-80s across the area. That last little shower out towards the mill area really struggling to survive at this point, and that's pretty much the last of our rain, though we'll watch any activity that develops across the northern basin of Lake Erie. We'll see if it can bring us an isolated shower. For the most part, I think we're pretty much done with the rain for at least the next 24 hours. Now, that changes Sunday. We'll walk you through all those new changes coming up. Continuing our string of 19 first alert weather days as we look ahead to the weekend. So that does mean you have to be on alert for more high heat on the way as we go through the day tomorrow. But that's kind of our last main day where we're dealing with the heat as the primary threat. Once we get into Sunday, it's still an alert day, but for a different reason. It's really going to be for that chance to see showers and storms that accompanies a cold front, which finally brings some changes to our forecast and likely some welcome changes here across Northeast Ohio. Let's take a look at Doppler. What you're going to notice, especially up to the north, is that we still have some showers and storms basically on a line from Detroit off towards the east. We don't really see a whole lot more surviving here locally, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that you have this boundary stationed up to the north. So other than a couple boundaries that slipped through our area earlier today, a lot of these storms ran into this area of high pressure, which really kind of limited the severe potential there and really how much in terms of coverage we saw a lot of those storms. But this boundary will come back into play as we look to the second half of your weekend, because eventually it's the area of low pressure that's going to bring us our next cold front by the time we get into your Sunday afternoon. So for tonight, yeah, it's pretty much copy and paste forecast. It's a few clouds out there that we have. Temperatures that'll be back into the low 70s. Warm, sticky, that really hasn't changed a whole lot. And the winds are going to remain pretty light as well. So you're not going to have a whole lot of wind kind of mixing around this muggier air, which can certainly be problematic if you don't have, say, air conditioning at your house. Keep this in mind. The heat advisory still remains in effect for everybody through 8 p.m. tomorrow, because it's still within this window that you could experience heat index values into the triple digits. I really think tomorrow is probably going to bring us some of the worst of the heat before we finally start to see things changing a little bit more headed into the second half of the weekend, and really kind of helps to usher in some drier feeling temperatures here because you won't have quite as much humidity on hand. But let's talk about tomorrow. Tomorrow starts off warm. I already showed you the overnight lows. We're going to be into the low 70s by 8 a.m., almost to 80 degrees. Lunchtime closer to about 90, and then back into the low to mid 90s during the afternoon. It is going to be hot. It is going to be humid, and I do think generally we're going to see a lot of sunshine here with just a light southwest wind, about 5 to 10 miles per hour at best. Overview of your weekend kind of points that the first half of the weekend likely going to be the worst of it. Temperatures overnight Saturday night only into the mid 70s. That is a very warm starting point for your Sunday. But the timing of that cold front's going to be key as to how warm that temperature is able to warm. I want to show you your future view, because while tomorrow is really mainly just going to be a hot and humid day, there is an off chance we could see an isolated shower. For the most part, it's really going to be the activity that rolls in by Sunday. Now, some guidance has brought through a system first thing in the morning, and if that happens, That may limit additional showers and thunderstorms during the afternoon, but the cold front is still slated to arrive during the afternoon, and that's what could give you that isolated severe potential. So there's a lot of things that we're going to have to watch very closely, especially with the second half of your weekend forecast. But one thing is for sure, we finally get some more comfortable feeling temperatures by Monday, and that does include a little less humidity. There will be some ups and downs as we look ahead towards next week and especially into the weekend. We'll certainly talk